Listen up, cluckheads.
You're listening to Whiskey and Whine
With Rooster and
The Madman, where we talk about common sense, current events,
Constitution.
morals, while comparing drinks of yesteryear to drinks of today.
So sit back, relax, leave us a comment.
Here comes Whiskey and Whine. You are listening to the first episode of Whiskey and Whine with the Rooster and Madman, where we talk about common sense, current events, and the Constitution while bringing up morals. It's close enough.
Here and there.
It's close enough to morals. So the rules for the show is that we're given 3 minutes per topic of common sense and constitutional. So whenever the timer goes off, we stop and we move on. So that way it keeps us on track and keeps the mad hen in the hen house. So while we're doing this, we're also going to be comparing some of the alcohols of yesteryear to the alcohols of today. Rooster, what do you got for us today?
Well, today we're going to be partaking of Kraken Black Spice rum, and we will be comparing it to a higher end rum out of Old Town Louisville and our friends at Bendt Distillery. They have a limited reserve run they did. They've been aging for 5 years, even though I bugged Natasha for like 2 of it. So thank you, Natasha, for getting that out to us. So I can really just hardly wait. I mean, I'm excited.
First off, Bendt is extremely high end, but pretty much anything is going to be high end compared to Kraken. I mean, I can already taste bad decisions happening, like currently. Like it has, I can already taste it. So, first comment that somebody left was over the constitutional carry. We are going to be talking for 3 minutes, and then we stop. So, Brad, do you want to take this one first?
Absolutely. Constitutional
timer has started.
Oh, sorry.
Now.
Constitutional carry in the great state of Texas. So, it has already passed our House and it has moved on to the Senate, in which case we expect it to actually be approved the Senate. Governor Abbott, in my opinion, will probably sign it, but I can't guarantee he will. He's been very closed-mouthed about it. But for those of you who don't know, this is going to be a law that is going to allow you to carry a firearm, open or concealed, without having to have a permit, which is basically going to replace our current LTC system.
Gotcha. So, as long as you don't have any reason by government standards why you couldn't have one.
Yeah. So if you can pass a background check, you can carry.
Gotcha. Well, it does say in the Second Amendment shall not be infringed, but this also brings up a really good conversation piece. Does that mean that they should go back to teaching firearm safety in high schools?
Yeah, I mean, I know when I was in high school, and granted it was a long time ago, but I actually shot on the high school rifle range. It was in the basement down there in Plano East Senior High School. So, by the way, Panthers, go Panthers.
Shout out to Plano.
So we actually had a rifle range. For most of you students out there, I'm sure it's still there, but we got to shoot on that one a few times. We learned basic hunting etiquette and all that kind of stuff.
Gun safety.
Yeah,
stuff.
Basic gun safety. And when it comes to the concealed carry, I mean, when I was many moons ago, I was a police officer here in the state of Texas. I was actually in the minority when the LTC stuff, or CHL back then, came out. Or maybe we call CC, I don't know, it was a long time ago. But anyways, when that came out, I actually wanted open carry versus concealed carry because I didn't subscribe to the idea of if no one sees a gun, then everybody assumes everybody's got a gun. We just know that.
Yeah, that's assuming somebody's guilt.
Exactly. And being a police officer, you can't make a whole lot of assumptions on things. So
my opinion is shall not be infringed.
Absolutely.
There is no reason for any citizen to have an AR-15, but there is for an M104, the Gatling gun.
Well, see, I would disagree. I think that you should not own an AR-15. I believe you should own an AR-15, an M4 carbine, and an AR pistol.
Well, if you get an AR-10, that's 5 AR safer.
Oh, wow, that is nice. It is
nice.
Yeah, I like that one.
And our timer hasn't gone off yet. It seems like it's been forever.
All right, well, a good time to talk about the smooth taste of this Kraken.
Well, you and I have very different opinions on the definition of the word smooth. I think it goes down like kind of like I was deep-throating a cactus. It's prickly on the inside.
So many jokes. So many jokes with prickly on the inside. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to be serious.
We are. Let's get serious.
It's been the Kraken talking already, so we'll move over to
that. It has that nice little aftertaste of shame.
Yeah. I mean, I've been known to make some bad decisions on it, but it's always been a good go-to for me. So don't let that ruin sour you guys from Kraken.
We got our next topic that just popped up, and as our timer went off. So our next topic is actually Maxine Waters. I'm assuming that's over the Riot comments.
Yeah, so Maxine Waters, that is that lovely congressman from the great state of California.
Okay, first off, you cannot say "great" in California in the same sentence. It's sacrilege. It's almost like saying, like Nolan Ryan isn't that great of a baseball player.
It's a podcast. You can't see me. I'm already rubbing my temples just saying Maxine Waters, great state of California.
Actually, I'm gonna jump in on this one right quick.
Sure.
Especially in a case as big as this was, you can't say some of the things that she said and expect there not to be any backlash, with the exception of the fact that I don't care what political party you're in, if anybody else besides her would have said that, they would have drug them through the street. They would have chastised them. If that had been you or I out there, or anybody else that is more of a moderate, we literally would have been lambasted all over social media.
Well, it just goes to show you the double standard when it comes to being a politician, and the extreme double standard from being on the left versus being on the right, versus being in the center. I mean, the left seems to get away a little bit more angst, if you will, when they say things that are abrasive and insightful, and then they just kind of make excuses about why it's okay when they say it. No one wants to bring up the whole point of she is a congressman from California. This is a state trial in the state of Minnesota. I understand it has all these other ramifications that were going on with it, but if you're going to be an elected leader, you know better. You should absolutely know better, and your voters should absolutely expect better from you. It was insightful.
You said something that was very, very to the point. You said extreme. You used the word extreme because the problem's not with the right or the left. It's the extreme right and the extreme left. And you're absolutely right. I mean, the way that was presented, there was no reason for her to jump in on that.
No, I mean, and anybody knew that they weren't sequestering this whole jury. So I mean, it was just it was a bad deal. I mean, you there's a time and a place to keep your mouth shut, and there's a time and place to talk. And she interjected with some insightful rhetoric. People, and people on her side will say, "Well, no, it really wasn't." But you know what? Put that in a Republican's mouth, and they would be blaring that this person was calling for riots.
And I would even challenge that. I wouldn't say put it in a Republican's mouth. I'd say put it in an independent, a libertarian, a constitutionalist, anybody that was not the extreme left. And I mean, they would have had us drawn and quartered out in the streets. I mean, especially in something as big as this is, there was absolutely no reason to say any of that, especially considering I don't know. She's not from Minnesota.
No, and I take it to the next extreme. I think she's a vile, racist woman. Just say it. I don't care. She is.
And our timer just went off, so we are moving to the next topic. That was a very smooth transition, almost as smooth as this Bendt rum.
Very smooth.
Very smooth.
Smooth. Like, never mind.
You underestimate the smoothiness.
We've had too much rum.
We're literally just minutes in, and it's already been way too much rum.
Thank you, Bendt Distillery.
Thank you, Bendt. And Kraken?
Thanks, Kraken.
Thanks, Kraken.
You know what? When I only have a few bucks, you're there for me, Kraken. All right, let's move on to. I think we had a good segue, though. I mean, leaving on the Maxine Waters, going straight into the.
Somebody brought up the whole Floyd Chauvin thing.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I'll let you tackle this one first. The 3 minutes starts now.
So, Chauvin and Ford. Obviously, it's just the Chauvin trial, but we know George Floyd was the person that Chauvin ended up murdering, and that's what he was convicted of. He killed a guy. He got convicted. That is the way the system works, and that's the way it should have been worked. I would just like to differentiate my opinion on was he a bad cop or was he a bad cop in the sense of a corrupt cop. He was just a bad cop, just a shitty
so
cop.
So he wasn't a dirty cop. He was a shitty cop.
He was just a shitty cop. I mean, I've been in situations where I've had to fight because, again, I used to be a police officer. And I've been in situations where you've got in that fight and you have to, it goes to the ground, scuffles, whatever the case may be. And I've had my knee in the back of a suspect. But you put it between the back of their shoulder blades. I can understand sometimes mistakes happen, especially in a fight. You might have put it in the back of his neck. But after the suspect is cuffed, you're going to take a moment. That's human. There's a human moment where you take a moment, you gather your thoughts, you take a breath because the fight takes it out of you, and then you got to get off the suspect.
So a moment doesn't last 9 minutes?
No, it does not last 9 minutes.
Gotcha.
9 minutes shows power trip. 9 minutes shows I'm in charge. No one can tell me what to do. People were telling this guy to get off of him. Other officers were saying get off of him. He's got a whole bunch of people. That was pure ego in power that Chauvin had.
I think that it was almost like an evil, egotistical power.
It was. Nobody could tell what this is going to tell this guy what to do, and he got convicted for it. I think the sad part of it all is there was no way for him to get what we would consider a fair trial. What I mean by fair trial, people would argue that is a fair trial is an impartial jury of your peers.
Oh yeah, there's no way that could have been impartial. It's been in the media for over a year with the riots, the looting, everything.
I mean, the country burned for a solid month.
There's no way that in sticking to the show's topic, one of those topics is constitutionalism. There's no way that he could have been granted a trial by fair trial by jury.
No, and then that idiot Waters out of California, she opens her mouth, and now this guy's got a good shot at a legal appeal.
I know, and that's what a lot of people don't realize is that now he actually has the chance to walk free after murdering somebody.
Correct.
It just blows my mind. So one of the things that I don't like about this entire thing is that people are making it a race versus a overexertion of force of the police department, excessive force. Because if you haven't heard about it, you need to look up 2016 Tony Timpa and Dallas, Texas, and our timer just went off, so we have to segue into this Kraken.
Yeah, Kraken.
Yeah, it's there.
It's warm. It makes me warm.
It's, you know what? After how smooth.
Yes. Bendt Distillery's got the win on this one.
Oh, absolutely. It reminds me of whenever I was younger and we took the truck off-roading. And it's fun for a minute going over all the bumps and the hills and getting stuck in the mud. And then you appreciate how smooth the highway is, and so does your axles and your shocks and your suspension.
Yeah. Or it goes the wrong way and you're actually stuck in the mud and you got to call somebody to help because you're on private property, and now the punishment comes with that.
Yeah. And that's what Kraken will do to you.
Yes, that's release the Kraken. All right, so let's segue into our last one.
Beta males. You know what? I'm going to look up beta males while I'm going to let you have the first go-round.
Absolutely. I'm pretty familiar with hearing this topic before. The first time it was ever brought to me, it was beta males. I think they called it beta males / man buns. Because there's a demographic out that does it. So my personal opinion, which is absolutely what you should follow, is beta males. I hope they make those skinny jeans so tight you can never reproduce.
That is some pretty harsh words. I'm pretty sure that is the Kraken talking.
It might be. So I get this Twitter response one day, and I felt bad because it had been a while since I looked at it because I really don't like that social media platform very much. It's just people being rude and ugly to each other. But anyways, so I get this comment on there. It's like, "Hey, Rooster, what first attracted you to being a lumbersexual?"
Hold up. Let's back that information train up just a hair bit. Can you repeat that again? What was that word?
Lumbersexual.
So now I'm Googling lumbersexual.
Be careful on your Google search.
If I die in the middle of this podcast, somebody please erase my search history.
So basically, to break it down for you, lumbersexual is someone who has a beard, and I'm very well bearded. I have a very righteous freedom beard. And apparently there's a demographic out there of these beta males who also grow their beards, and they like to wear flannels and act like, they could be a lumberjack if they wanted to, except they have no idea.
Monty Python?
Yeah, except they have no idea how to swing that axe, and they're just walking around the woods trying to figure out how to hunt for vegan tacos or something stupid. So bottom line is, if you have
they're on aisle A4.
If you have a great beard and you do not know how to change a tire, think about shaving. Just think of it. It's that simple, man.
So with what I'm looking up, it seems like beta males are the exact opposite of what would be considered an alpha male.
Correct.
Okay, so as far as the alpha male goes, I mean, one of the terms I absolutely hate is toxic masculinity. If you look at everything from suicide rates to homicides, the majority of those are all male. At the same time, I've never known an alpha male personally that mistreated any woman or disrespected any woman. So I don't really know much about this whole beta versus alpha thing, besides the fact that it's stupid. And realistically, it kind of goes back to, I'm sorry, I was raised in the South, guys. Do guy things like, I don't know, hold open doors. And it's not just because that, we're trying to exude our patriarchy. It's also because we're being gentlemen, and that's really the only way you can look at your girl's ass as she's going through the door.
Yeah, so, it's the only thing toxic about masculinity when it comes to men who are toxic, my belief is it's usually going to be those beta males, and it's just because they've left that tampon on him way too long.
Almost as if it was a man pond.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, but no, I mean, these guys...
our timer just
time
went
is up.
off.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I hate man buns.
All right, so those were our topics. Feel free to comment. Leave us some topics for next week. Very special birthday shout out to Nicole Taylor, who is helping cat herd this entire organization.
Happy birthday, Nicole.
Very special shout out to Deep Dallas Radio for this wild ride.
If you ever make it to Deep Dallas Radio and you check out Locked and Loaded show, stay out of the dude's basement. I mean, he's got like a weird dungeon.
Yeah, the Overlord's got a weird dungeon thing. It puts the coconut oil on its skin.
It's really weird. I can't believe people have been in there like a dozen times. First time I walked past that thing, and I was the only one who noticed it.
I wonder if there's a nice little stash of Kraken in that little dungeon.
Yeah, there probably is, along with some coconut oil.
Coconut oil. A little book that has safe words in it. You have been listening to Whiskey and Wine with the Rooster and the Madman. Stay tuned next week. We'll bring up new topics, new drinks, more common sense.